Hello everyone, so this is a special video because as I've titled it, you may have not noticed this is actually a contest video for a very good friend of mine who is Mr. Anthony Metal Miner, who has reached 1,000 subs on his YouTube channel, which is really cool. Like, in the real world of YouTube that means fuck all to anybody, but in this kind of small weird minority where we kind of nerd out and show our own favourite tunes and pimp bands out to each other, it's quite a cool achievement because I don't know even like 10 people outside of YouTube that even like my music, let alone will talk to me about the kind of shit I listen to. So I value the kind of like vinyl community, but you know, collect CDs, tapes, whatever. You know, it's really cool. I can just talk to people online and kind of gauge new bands from them. And if I show a certain album, they'll go, "Oh, check this album out." You know, and Anthony's done that to me dozens of times. You know, he's been there right from, say, maybe my second year doing YouTube. He was talking to me before he started his own YouTube channel, and then since then I kind of pressured him to do his own, so he hinted at doing it. And you know, since he's done it, you know, he's got loads of new friends doing it. His son Cody got involved for a little while. I was doing it with him, showing like black metal and stuff like that, which I love. And yeah, he's just a really genuinely nice bloke, and he's all about the music. He's all heart, you know. He's not an aggressive person that I know of anyway. And he's got nothing bad to say about anybody, you know, and I'm sure he probably wants to sometimes. So he's a top bloke. So if you haven't ever checked out his YouTube channel and you're watching my shit, please go and check it out. But he's kind of done this like kind of Q&A thing, and I kind of wanted to change it a little bit. Not, the answers are the same to his questions, but kind of make it more about my collection and show you stuff that I've never probably shown on here before, because I don't do like the whole show and tell where I just buy something and then have to show it instantly. I kind of try and create my videos around a certain theme or topic to kind of promote new albums you might not have heard. And some of these you've probably heard 100 times, and there's guaranteed ones in here you definitely know. But you never know, you know, you might find something new. And I'll obviously leave links to all the albums I talk about below, obviously Anthony's channel, as the whole video is about him. So his first kind of question was to talk about your favourite albums. And if you've watched my YouTube channel for ages, you already know my favourite bands and albums and stuff like that. But my scope goes bigger than that. You know, I listen to a shit ton of music on a daily basis. Like even today I've listened to 6 different albums while working. You know, I do it all the time. So here are 3 bands that I absolutely love the specific album by them. So the first one is Broken Hope, US death metal band from the 90s, still going strong even though bar only one original member left. But this is, I think, maybe their 4th album, I think, which is called Repulsive Conception. And his boys are brilliant. Ultra guttural, low-end vocals from the late, I forget his name, this chap here. Phenomenal vocals, like really low-end. And yeah, this band are just absolutely killer. This album is probably my favourite. Well, it is my favourite by them by miles. The debut is very good. Well, this was the first one I ever heard by them. It even has a Twisted Sister cover on it, Captain Howdy, right at the end there. But until I ended up having this in my collection, I never knew what the vocals were. I just kind of hummed along to it for years and years since I was a teen. And then when you actually read the lyrics to some of these songs, they're absolutely fucking mental. Like, absolutely mental. Like, even I would be like, whoa, not for me. But there you go. And I've been humming them and singing along to them in my head, that I thought I knew the words anyway, for years. So yeah, it pays to have the physical release so you can actually listen to and read what you're actually listening to. But yeah, I absolutely adore that band, Broken Hope. You know, even their modern albums are really cool. And then this album from this band, 90% of the people that say they like this band would always go for the debut and the kind of black metal style. But I actually prefer the more modern, I don't know what you would call it, like pop, synth pop sound they now have. And that's Norway's Ulver. This is the Flowers of Evil album that came out, I think, in 2020 or 2019. 2020, yeah. I fucking love this album. I still listen to this near enough every other day. The kids still have it as a kind of bedtime playlist, what we use Spotify for. And it's just an incredible album, and I instantly got hooked on it. As soon as I heard it, it was totally new to me. I mean, I was brought up on 80s pop music by my mum and dad. My mum mostly, because my dad hates music. But, you know, it's just, yeah, it's ingrained on me, this whole album. I love it to death, and it's one of those albums that I've listened to now for so much since it even came out. It will stick with me for the rest of my life, probably, this album. It's incredible how, you know, when people have probably heard Spandau Ballet for the first time, and then, you know, 30 years later they still do love that, you know, band. Whereas for me, this will probably be the same thing with this album. You know, it's incredible music, really easy to get into, really poppy, simple, The lyrics don't even make any sense, they're just kind of words thrown together, it seems like. But yeah, I fucking love it. So yeah, Ulver, Flowers of Evil. And I've done this mostly in threes as well. And then another band I absolutely adore is Greece's SepticFlesh, and this album specifically, this is their debut, Mystic Palaces of Dawn. This is a reissue though, so the cover art is different. This is done by the actual vocalist, like this AI art. I know a lot of people hate AI art, and I would agree with you 99% of the time you need to use a real artist. But I like his style. I always think these albums look really cool, and like the Belphegor ones he's done, they look really cool. And yeah, this is a Greek band that are more of a synth death metal band now, but this album is 99% death doom through and through. It's very doomy, very death metal. That's obviously recorded in the 90s, so it has that 90s recording, like very Greek sounding. You know, if you listen to early Rotting Christ and stuff like that, these boys are pretty much the same. And yeah, I fucking adore this album. Melodies, the whole lot, is proper miserable. So if you're a fan of like My Dying Bride, early Paradise Lost, you should already know what this album sounds like, and if you don't, go check it out. It's wicked. So that was the first kind of question, and then question 2 was to show some your favourite bands. So they were the favourite albums I just showed you. So these aren't my favourite bands, but again, my favourite bands, you already know what they are if you watch this channel. You know, My Dying Bride, Your Solitude Eternuses. So I kind of thought I'd show you 3 albums from some of my favourite bands. You know, I listen to, you know, quite regularly on the fly. And you know, one of my favourite death metal bands, I've seen these guys live a bunch of times, is Dying Fetus. I mean, this band are awesome. Very modern sounding death metal. They've been around a long time, but they're very, very, very technical. And as a 3-piece, it still blows my mind the kind of sound they produce live. Like John, the guitar player, and then the bass player, and the drums. You know, everything is top tier technicality. And it's very riffy, very chuggy, very heavy, and all their albums are great. I mean, it's not really a bad, maybe the very early stuff I'm not overly keen on, but like stuff like this is just fucking amazing. You know, all these songs in here are great, and I've seen these guys live a bunch of times. I mean, famously in my family, I wore a Dying Fetus t-shirt to the birth of my son without really realising. I wear band t-shirts all the time. I just chuck them on. I pay no attention to it, but my wife went ballistic at me because we're in a maternity ward, women everywhere, and I'm wearing Dying Fetus. And yeah, I'll never forget that moment. So yeah, love some Dying Fetus. And Norway's, another Norwegian band, Funeral. This is, I think, their 2009 album, Operatorium or something like that. I love this band to death as well. I listen to these guys every year randomly. I'll just kind of have a real splurge of Funeral, the band music. You know, I love it, and every album of theirs I have, bar the first one, are fantastic. You know, really, really miserable, doomy death metal, more in the doom, kind of epic doom. Some albums, some of it's got death metal guttural vocals on it. But yeah, just a wicked band, and every album sounds different. The last album they put out a few years ago was great. It was all sung in Norwegian, and I still loved it. I thought it was fantastic. So yeah, Funeral, if you never checked them out, strongly recommend that band. All their albums are different. And then his next question was to show you some kind of his favourite cover artists or cover art. So I've picked 3 albums that you're probably familiar with, but I absolutely adore the covers, and the main reason I even check these albums out. The very obvious one that everyone will know is this band here, Slayer's Rain and Blood. I remember as a teen discovering Slayer when they were in their God Hates Us All era, just before God Hates Us All came out. And I got the DVD War at the Warfield, I think it was, and you got the backstage crowd interviews, and it just completely captured my mind. And I thought they were the heaviest band on the planet at the time. And then I heard this album, I bought it with my money. Famous story in my family again, as I went to buy my mum a Mother's Day card and a present, and I came home with Rain and Blood on CD, and yeah, tears from me because my mum was really disappointed with me for buying it, and I still have that CD to this day. So yeah, a solemn reminder as a parent not to let my kids become like I did and be obsessed with metal music. But then I'm 35 now and still obsessed with metal music. So yeah, I absolutely love that cover. Very fond memories, good and bad. And then this one again, I mean, the album's okay. It's not a great album, but the cover is fucking fantastic, and that's Jungle Rot with their album, what's this one called? It's just a self-titled album. I mean, I remember when I first started doing the whole YouTube thing. I think this came out in 2019. It would be around the time I started doing it, just as COVID hit, and I saw this cover everywhere, and I thought that is amazing, and I need to have it. I knew the band Jungle Rot. I didn't really rate them back then either, but the cover art of that, I mean, look at that. It's incredible. And I only actually got this maybe 2 years ago or a year ago at a record fair here in Norwich. And the guy was selling it for a tenner, and it's on red wax. And I looked on Discogs, and it's actually worth quite a bit. So yeah, more for him for selling it to me for such a cheap price. But yeah, I just love that cover. I mean, that is amazing to me. You know, if you're going to do a death metal album, boom. And then the last one of the covers was an album that really captured my imagination. This whole piece of, well, it's a work of art. It's actually a famous painting in I think Denmark it originates from, and this is the Danish band Afsky, with whatever that album is called. I always put it down there so you can read it. But that painting there with the woman, wife, we're going to assume, crying over her dead husband there in the middle of a field, just completely captures the sound of this album. And it's a bleak, atmospheric black metal album by this one-man project, and he's done an album last year which was good, but nothing has come close to this album for me since he's put it out. It's just incredible, just the emotions in it, the raw atmosphere. I mean, I adore it. I really do love this album. So that cover, I don't know what the name of the painting is. I might put that in the notes if you really want to know. But yeah, wicked stuff. And then he asks a question which I can get. I did that when I did a contest ages ago. It's kind of feedback for your channel, because no one ever gives you feedback, and you kind of discover. I mean, I like to try and make sure I do this as best as I can, because if you're going to take the time to talk to myself to a phone, upload it, edit it, you want to make sure at least it's good for the people watching it. Because if you're just recording YouTube to get attention, it's just not the thing to do. And he basically asks, so what could you improve, Anthony? And the only thing I could probably suggest personally is just to kind of be a bit more diversive in your content if you want to. It depends what you want to get from your YouTube channel, because for me, I just want to promote bands to people. I don't want to be the centre of attention and stuff like that. I mean, before I did any of this, I was the quiet guy at gigs. I've been in a band for 15 odd years. No one knew who I was, you know, all the other guys kind of took centre stage. But since doing this kind of thing, I get a lot more people talk to me now, which I still find weird. But it depends what you want to do. Like, personally, for me, I'd love to see more content of you doing different things and not just showing what you've bought. You know, kind of be a bit more opinionated and kind of show stuff that what means to you. You know, albums, like give you some top 10s, because to grow a YouTube channel, it seems if you just chuck out top 10 videos, you get quite a lot of views on them. Like, my most popular video is a room tour, and I did that 2 years ago, and I still get views to that every single day. And I think that video sucks. Like, personally, I just think it's really bang average. But it's my most viewed video. It's in like 12,000, 13,000 views now. Just showing off this tiny little room I have in the middle of my house between my living room and my kids' playroom, and it's this man cave covered in posters. And it looks probably better now than it does in that video, to be fair. So yeah, it's up to you, Anthony. I mean, criticism wise, I would never criticize your channel, because you've got 1,000 subs. You comment on everyone's videos. You're a loyal fan of death metal, which I love death metal. You know, you're a bit open-minded to God's black metal now, and you're pushing your boundaries. But yeah, try and be maybe a bit more diversive. But you know, who fucking cares? If people watch your videos and you're happy doing it, just do it the way you want, man. I would never tell you what to do. So yeah, that's my 2 piece on that. And then he says 2 bands that you'd like to see new material from for this year. And again, that was quite easy. I went with these 2 bad boys, if I can find them. Oh, it dropped on the fucking floor. Oh, right, here we go. So yeah, N Menace. I don't know if you'll see this, it's so shiny. There you go. It's a silver cover. So this is their debut from yonks ago, but they put out an album a few years ago and it was brilliant. And I have seen a social media post saying that they were going to do another album, or they're recording another album. So yeah, we'd love to see some more N Menace, because it's not a bad N Menace album. Oh yeah, I'll chuck it in now, but another favourite cover of mine is that one. It's in the middle of that pile there, but who doesn't like Judas Priest, right? Everyone likes Judas Priest. But sorry, yeah, another band they've put out a new album this year, and it's great, by the way. The new Judas Priest album is top tier. Love that. But also these boys here, My Dying Bride, they are putting out an album out in 3 weeks from this video recording, maybe 2 weeks now. Very, very excited. Big fanboy of these boys. Capture everything I want in music. I don't listen to them regularly, like a die-hard fan. When I listen to them, I love it, but I don't go putting it on repeat ever, because it's a mood band for me, and it always has been for years and years and years. But every time I see them live, I always leave with a really sore smile from my face, just been grinning the whole time I've watched them. So yeah, this came out in 2020 or 2019, 2020. And it was good. I enjoyed this a lot. It wasn't as good as I was hoping it to be, but it was good. So I'm really looking forward to checking out what the new album sounds like, because the 2 singles they put out have been decent. Really enjoyed them. So yeah, My Dying Bride is the answer to that. And the last question of this little Q&A thing for this video is to show your three favourite albums from 2023. So I thought I'll just show you the top 3 albums from my end of year list I did last year. So at number 3 by memory, it was this band here, which I'm playing again with this year. Played again with them several times. And that is Bradfords, well, I think they're from Bradford, Godthyrmm. So this is a UK doom band based out of Yorkshire. And features Hamish on vocals. He was in My Dying Bride for a number of years, and Solstice. You've also got, is it Sean on drums? Who was in N Menace in My Dying Bride. You've even got Chris from Green Saber now in the band now, but he wasn't on this album, but he is now in the band. So later recordings, you'll see his big, beautiful bald head on some recordings. And yeah, and then Bob on bass. You've also got Hamish's wife, Catherine on vocals. She does a great job on this as well. And yeah, I fucking love this album. It has everything I want. Epic doom. It's thick, it's chunky, it's got wicked riffs, wicked melodies. Very much pallbearer sounding on this album than the previous one. And I'm not sure if that was inspiration or not, but they do have a very much a nod now to pallbearer and that kind of style of doom, if you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, really, really enjoyed that album. And then Finnish band Marianas Rest. I saw no one talk about this last year, and I have no idea why. Great death doom, doomy death metal in the Finnish style. If you're a fan of Swallow the Sun, you know, that vein of doom death, they're very much in that ballpark. His vocals are very different though. He's got a very guttural kind of shriek, dying sound to his voice. And the melodies on it and everything was just fantastic. Really enjoyed their previous album, but this was a bit of a step up for me, and it really got lots of spins, and that kind of pushed it to 2nd place for my top 20 or whatever it was I did last year. So I still love this album. I think it's fantastic. And then this one, I'm actually seeing these guys live in June in London. This will be the first time I go to a gig that isn't a metal gig for me, and that is the band Crosses. This was their album from last year, called Goodnight, God Bless, I Love You, Delete. Total wank title. I would never in a million years have checked this album out if it wasn't someone that told me it sounds like goth music from the 80s, mixed with Duran Duran and Spandau Ballet and stuff like that. Was it New Wave they called it back then? I don't know. And I thought, alright, I'll give it a go, because again, like I told you, I was brought up on that kind of thing, and I absolutely love it. It's got Chino from Deftones on vocals, and me and my wife, when we first met, always said, you know, we'd get married and have a Deftones song, Diamond Eyes, as our first dance. So his voice is very much ingrained in our family. So when I put this on the way home from a family holiday, I streamed it in the car for about 2 hours, and it was fantastic. Nighttime drive. I adored it, and then I went and bought it. Well, actually, no, I got it for Christmas. I streamed it for fucking months, and then bought it when it came out. And yeah, well, I didn't. I got it as a present. And yeah, I love it. And I'm now seeing them live in June for my first ever non-heavy metal show. So I don't know what I'm going to do, how to react, or what. I don't know. So it'll be really fun. I go with lots of good mates who are into this album as well. So yeah, fun times will be had in the capital. So yeah, I'll stop waffling now. So thank you if you've watched the end of this video. Please go and check out Anthony's channel. This is what it's all about. Congrats, mate, on 1,000 subs. You'll get more. Just depends how you want to do it and see how it grows. You know, take your time with it. There's no rush. If you enjoy doing YouTube, you know, and you're watching this video and you've never done it before, get involved, because it's the same for me. It's the same for Anthony. We're all the same. We all started out just watching videos of idiots like me talking about music and thought, you know, probably could do it better, probably got better choice in music, you know, because some people just rattle on the biggest albums you can talk about just for hits, and I'm never going to be about that. And I know Anthony's not about that either. So yeah, take care. Please like the channel. Please like Anthony's channel. You're all legends. Cheers.